All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. Happy Monday. Holy crap, we're doing this on a Monday, Isaac. We got a special guest in the house. Speaking of Isaac, Isaac Madison's in the house. Raise the roof. You got to do it. It's tradition, Isaac. There you go. All right, we got people filing in to the real estate exam study group. Isaac Madison is here. He just passed his exam. Is with Carlton Realty, and he's going to talk a little bit about today, getting tips and tricks so you can pass your exam at home. And we'll talk to him and much, much more right after this countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right. Thanks, Isaac, for coming on again on a Monday. We're going to talk a little bit about tips and tricks. So, and everyone at home, as we file in, it's 1 o'clock Eastern time on Monday, and Monday, September 16th. So if you have a question and it's 1 o'clock Eastern time, go ahead and put the questions in the comment section because Isaac can answer those live. And if it's really hard, then we just might not know the answer. We'll find out for you. So, but Isaac, well, this floor is yours. So tell us a little bit about you and where do you live, a little bit about your personal story.
So like you just said, my name's Isaac Madison. I am 32. I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio. I have moved around a little bit. I've lived in Baytown, Texas, Louisville, Kentucky, Cincinnati, Ohio. So I moved around a little bit, and I can honestly say that Central Ohio is a very unique place. Let's start there.
Okay.
As far as my background, I really don't have too much background that correlates with real estate itself, other than my home inspection experience. So prior to me being licensed to become a realtor, I was a licensed home inspector, and I owned and operated my own.
That helps a lot. That'll help a lot. Yeah, I didn't know that about you. Okay. Nice.
Yep, so
that'll help a lot when you're showing homes and things. Yeah, leverage that for sure.
For sure. So so actually when I got into doing home inspection, my end goal was always real estate investment. So I looked at the knowledge that I was possessing, becoming a home inspector would just kind of solidify my investments on the real estate side, if you understand what I'm saying. So that's that. Other than that experience, it was pretty much just running and gunning, hard labor, quick money, warehouse to warehouse, forklift to forklift, honestly. So
and now you're here.
Yep, now I'm here. I got tired of that and decided to grab the wheel and take advantage of Hondros real estate classes. So worked out for me.
Yeah, when did you start? So you went to Hondros, because not everyone that comes on Hondros seems like it, but that's not the case. But when did you, because you did it all online, right, Isaac? Everything online? Did you go to class?
So I actually took the weekend course. So just Saturday and Sunday, the 8 to 5 class, just Saturday and Sunday, because I actually had a full-time job during that time. So I signed up for the Saturday and Sunday courses. Those are actually kind of like hybrid. So you can either go to the in-class setting or you could do it online.
Live stream it. Yeah,
live stream it. So I would say, so for real estate law and principles and practice, I attended every class session. So for the 40 hours, yes, in person. So
and why did you do that?
Just because I felt like those were the two main parts that I needed to focus on. So
I was leading you down that road, Isaac, because that's 100% correct. Those are the two most important books, guys, at home for sure.
Yeah, principles and practice, and so that's why I actually sat in for those, because I realized those were the most important, and I just didn't want to miss anything.
Yeah. So when you did you start, because it was 9 months, this from the day you bought your packet to the day you finished was 9 months, right? Is that what when we talked?
Well,
Okay.
Well, so the day I actually signed up, so it's an 8-week program. So I signed up
Mhm.
end of July. I started end of July. I finished mid September, right? So once I
Mhm.
finished in mid September with the actual classes and I got my prerequisites out the way, once I finished in mid September, I didn't get around to taking my actual exam until June. So I finished my
So the
classes,
following year.
yeah, the following
Oh,
year. So I
yeah.
finished my
Okay.
classes September 2023, and I didn't get around to
Mhm.
taking my exam until June of 2024.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so
How
that's the
was that
nine.
hard? Did you forget a lot of the stuff? I mean,
Um,
did you forget a lot?
so I didn't necessarily forget a lot because
Mhm.
I was still learning. I was still learning, and I
Studying.
was still kind of unpacking everything that I had learned in the Hondros course. Because that weekend packet is a little different, man. You're sitting in that class for 8 hours a day. They kind of
Mhm.
cramming that
Long.
information into you, and then so
Right.
once I finished the course, I had realized I had retained about 3/4 of it, but it was still
Good.
iffy. So I still felt like I needed to kind of unpack it on my own and just lay it all out and take my time understanding it on my own.
Mhm.
So that's actually what I did. But within that time I got caught up just things happening in life. I also, like I said prior to this, I had a full-time job at the time.
Mhm.
So it was just things in life happen, man, and I was just still
Sure.
trying. I was still trying. I never gave up. So within them 9 months, like I would be at work, like listening to YouTube videos just for 8 hours straight, just on like real estate vocab, or I would be going
Man,
over things like deed versus titles and like things like that. So within these 9 months, I was still studying and I was also still learning how to study, if that makes sense.
that sounds
So
like a boring life, Isaac.
I
Listen
know,
to
right? Very
Instead of
boring.
listening to new pop rap or new pop or rap or new country come out, you were listening to Hondro stuff. Let me ask
I-
you this.
right?
Let's if you had to do it all over again, like just say, guys, listen, this is the way you should be doing it. You know what I mean? If you could turn back time and do it all over again, how long would you say is too long? Like this is how long it should take you in this time, just get it done. Because a year's a long time because you took about a year, start to
Yeah,
finish,
a
right?
year is
Well, not
honestly,
quite, but what would
yeah.
you recommend?
So um just knock it out. Just knock it out the park. Just once you finish the classes, and it's honestly what they tell you in the classes. Once you finish your classes, immediately schedule your test. Immediately schedule your test.
Yeah,
I have no excuse on why it took me 8 months to honestly schedule my test. That is
it's okay.
procrastination at its finest.
Yeah,
So with that being
got it.
said, don't procrastinate. As soon as you finish your classes, schedule your test. Get it out the way. Do not wait
Mhm.
because it's so
I
much
agree.
information that you have to learn just to take the test. A lot of the
Mhm.
information you won't be using as a real estate agent. And that is another thing that kind of slowed me down during the process too, because I was looking at a lot of information and it was just
Yeah.
like, is this going to be on the test? And if it is on the test, am I actually going to use it as a realtor? Like
Right.
it was just so I kind of had to develop like certain study techniques and kind of figure out what I felt was important and what I felt wasn't.
Yeah, really, guys, 2 to 3 months is about where you want to be. Now you have 6 months if you go to Hondros to when you buy your packages. You got 6 months, but I tell people, listen, if you buy it today and you got a wedding and football games or whatever it is, and you can't really knock, have like 2 or 3 good months, then just wait, buy the package, and but you got to have about 60 to 90 days to knock it out. And
Yeah, yeah,
but
I agree.
longer yeah. I hate the fact because you spend a lot of hours throughout the year and the holidays, like studying, and it just drags it out. So yeah, 2 to 3 months, guys. Yeah,
Mhm.
two to
I,
three
I
months.
agree. Yeah, I agree. So 60 to 90 days
Yeah.
for sure. You should be able to complete everything and
Hmm.
then schedule your test for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So
Good.
yeah, that's one
So
thing that
what
I
did you?
definitely would a do-over is the time I took.
Okay. That's a great tip. Yeah. You learned the hard way, didn't you?
Yeah.
What are some things that you studied, Isaac, on the test that you're like, guys, get ready because this was on the test. Be ready for it. You mentioned the principle and practices book and law book, but was there some stuff in there or math or anything that you're like, guys, you really want to study this? This really helped me, or a strategy. I don't know. It could be that too.
So the
Anything
things
you
that
benefited from?
say that again. I'm sorry.
Oh, anything that you studied or material or a book or a podcast or anything that you would recommend that
Yeah.
really helped you pass this test?
So I would say the most is contracts for me. That's what was
Contract.
throwing me off the most. Contracts. There was a lot of tricky questions on there about contracts. Another one. Well, first I want to start with the math. To anybody that's on here, do not let the math scare you. I literally had about 6 math questions on my exam, and they were like simple commission questions. They weren't no gross rent multiplier questions, no long drawn out formulas that you have to remember. There was none of that on my exam. None of it. So I just want to say that first. Do not let the math scare you at all. I'm not a math guy. So that was one thing that was actually holding me back, and that is one thing that
The
I could
math.
say.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
nothing I should have worried about.
Math guys, everyone at home, it's 5 to 10 questions. You absolutely are going to have commission questions. It comes up on almost every test. If you're really unlucky and you have a test that has 10, right? Then you might get gross rent multiplier. That does come up sometimes. Townships come up sometimes. And then I'll escape my mind. There's something how I'll remember it. But you like maybe proration. That's what I want to think. If you're really, really, really unlucky, but guys, guess what? You might not get all your math questions correct. You just might not. But no commissions, down payments. Like if the house is $100,000 and you put 10% down, how much does the buyer need to bring to closing? So 10% of 100,000. But very basic. So I'm glad you touched on that, Isaac, because people overstudy math. Yeah. Overstudy math.
I agree. But that was one thing that I overstudied, and I was just like, that was a waste of time, wasn't it?
So contracts, I think contracts says 13 questions on the test.
Okay,
guys,
so contracts and also agency. Your agency relationship. Know your agency relationships for sure. Know those. What was another thing? Elements of value. That's something that I thought wasn't going to be on there, but it kept popping up. So know your elements of value. And then another technique that I would use for studying would be acronyms. Like for instance, with the elements of value, I used the acronym called DUST, which stood for basically demand, utility, scarcity, and transferability. Those are the 4 elements of value, basically. So that's a good acronym to remember for that. Again, it's DUST: demand, utility, scarcity, and transferability. Remember that. And another acronym I'm pretty sure a lot of people may know or may not know is OCAR. Those are the agent fiduciary duties. OCAR. You got obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, or some people say competency, and then you got accountability and reasonable care. So those are the agent fiduciary duties.
A lot of agency.
Yep. That's another acronym that I used. And so things like that. Other tips I would say, buy the PSI practice exam. That is one thing that I bought. I only bought it once, the day before I actually took my exam, and that helped me as far as just maneuvering, as far as the testing screen, knowing the buttons that I got to operate and work with, things like that.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So,
which one did you buy? The 500 questions or the 800? which package did you get? Or no, I don't want to say package. What test size? Do you remember?
I'm not for
Do you
sure
remember how much it cost?
It cost $25. I'm not for sure how many questions
Okay.
it came with, though, but it was a
Yeah.
$25.
Yeah, it's like that's a smaller one. But I think, really, I like the one thing I like about that is
Okay.
that it gives you, like you mentioned, it tells you like it looks like the actual test. So it's
Yeah,
kind of like that brain muscle, like the video game. Like, so when you go on the actual test, you'll say, oh, I'm familiar with the layouts, the buttons. And because when you take a test for the first time, you might have a lot of anxiety because you're like, okay, where's the timer? Where's the, oh, there it is. And then you're like worried about the mechanicals of it instead of like taking the actual test. So
Yep.
for the price of a pizza, maybe don't buy pizza on a Friday night and just buy that instead. Because I think I do think there's a slight edge there. We have a question for you, Isaac. Can you answer it for us? You ready?
Yep, let's go.
It's a pretty easy one. So Keisha asks, how long is the test and is it timed?
Okay, yeah. So the test is timed. You got 2 tests. So for the national proportion of the exam, you have 120 minutes, 2 hours. It's 80 questions. And for the state proportion of the exam, you have 60 minutes and it's 40 questions. So when you do the breakdown on both tests, I want to say you have a minute and a half each question. And that's another reason that I did the PSI practice exam, so I could actually know, like, okay, once I get in there and I get the answer to the question, do I got to hit submit? Do I got to hit next? Because my first time testing, I failed my national exam and I ran out of time. And that's the reason I actually failed it. I ran completely out of time. I had about 20 questions left and I was just
Well,
like,
that's a lot. Yeah, you'll fail it then for sure.
I know, right? So yeah, so the national proportion, you got 80 questions, 2 hours to complete, and the state question, you have 40 questions with 1 hour to complete, Keisha.
Got a question for you then, Isaac. Why do you feel you didn't have enough time the first time, but then you did the second time? What were you doing wrong? Does that make sense?
So yeah. So the first time I actually tested, I was just too in my head. Like I was rewriting down questions. And the thing is, I was trying to take notes and answer questions just in case, like, okay, that question could have correlated with the answer of another question. So I was just doing a lot at them. I was in there rewriting questions. I was taking notes from questions that I had already answered, and I wasn't paying attention to the time. It's a button actually to where you can take the time away, and I took the time away. So
okay. You weren't getting alerted.
Yeah, so when I brought it back up, I had like 5 minutes left, and I was just like, "Oh no,
no!"
I blew it.
Now you're in trouble.
Yeah, I know. Completely blew it on the first one, but so even with me running out of time, though, I completed 60 out of 80, so I was kind of close. It's almost like I got them all right.
Yeah, I mean, for everyone at home, it's kind of rare that you run out of time, to be honest with you. It's not typical. When you took it the second time, how fast did you finish? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, the second time it almost took me a solid hour. It took me a little bit over an hour. The second time.
So you had a ton of time the second time.
Yeah, I blazed through it, Adam. Like,
yeah. Okay. Yeah, and you didn't go back and change answers and double read into it.
No. So the first time I took it, I didn't want to skip any questions. I didn't want to go back to nothing. I just wanted to feel like I knew everything and I didn't have to skip, and I just wanted to roll straight through it, and that wasn't the case. So
yeah,
that was a big fail on my behalf. I wasn't paying attention to the time, and I just also pretty much just wasn't using my head, honestly. If you ask me, like I wasn't trying to skip no. I don't know, honestly.
It's a strategy. It's some of it's memorization. We got Laura's got a question here in a second, but I'm gonna like a point. is very rarely, guys, you'll run out of time. Read the question slowly at least 2 times. Try to, because it's tricky.
I agree.
In 2019, they changed a lot of the test around. It's trickier. So you got to read the question twice. You could read it once and you might be like, oh yeah, I know this. But then it's like, well, no, it's the least likely. You missed that part, not the, you know what I mean? It's a lot of double negatives. So read the question slowly twice. Double negatives, a lot of it. Yep. So you got to read that. Some agents oh, go ahead, Isaac.
Another thing I wanted to touch on was the extra information that they'll put in these questions. They'll just throw extra information inside of the question that you don't even need to utilize, but it sounds like it's important. So reread the question and honestly pull the things from the question that you know you need and remove the things that you don't know you need.
Yeah, a lot of extra stuff. So Laura's got a question for you, Isaac. What test did you buy? Is it the one from Hondros? I think she's referring to the PSI practice exam. Do you want to tell her where that is? Not Hondros, Laura. It's not Hondros. Can you tell her? Can you tell Laura where you bought that at and where you found it?
So PSI is actually the company that administers the exam, right? So they have a website. If I'm not mistaken, it's psi.com or psi.org, one of them. But you can go on there, actually click your trade, which will be real estate, and they have practice exams for you to practice on. And these are actually, I don't know if they're questions from previous tests, but they're actual questions from the testing administrator, so you know they're accurate. And it was only $25. Well worth the $25.
Yeah, there's bigger more. There, it's the same thing, but you can buy more test questions basically. But the thing I always liked about it was it looks exactly like the test, like the layout and the buttons. And I think it's just it just helps you like kind of ease your, you know, because when you take the exam the first time and you fail it, the second time, if you're studying, usually you get it knocked out because now you know what the testing center looks like, what it smells like, and how it all works. So you're not as anxious. So Gino says, this is good, a very good interview and a lot of good stuff. Thanks, Gino. From the, we got another question here. I'm not sure. It says, what sets you apart from the rest, Isaac? I'm not sure what that means. Your good looks and your handsome smile.
It's self-explanatory.
Yeah. Your charm and charisma. That's what it is. Maybe if you can elaborate on that, you know, not sure. I guess another question. Was there anything, and I know you mentioned math, don't freak out on the math or anything, but was there anything that you studied and it's like, man, I really wasted a lot of time, you know, on this, and I don't worry about it, guys. I know you mentioned math. Is there anything else you'd say? Don't worry about it, guys. You'll be okay. Just do this and you'll be fine.
One thing that I would say, so I kind of got in depth into a couple things, like as far as like policing powers and things like that. Like, so like zoning and master plans and things like that. Like I was going over stuff thinking it was going to be on the test and it wasn't, but it is something you need to know. You don't have to go, get you a building code book or anything like that. But so that is two things that I wouldn't spend too much time on is, well, actually the bundle. So know your bundle of rights, but don't spend too much time on it. So bundle of rights, zoning, and building codes, and also math. Those are the four things that I would say I spent too much time on and I did not see enough of it on the test.
Okay. A couple comments. Keisha says, are you ready to get into the market? So meaning you're ready to become a real estate agent?
Yes, sir. I most definitely
better to study that info than it is those test questions there.
I know.
Yeah. Laura says, absolutely money well spent. Let's see. Was she the one?
Oh, that was about the PSI question.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laura, definitely.
So Laura, so he's recommending it. We talk a lot of people. It's a funny thing when we started this podcast group, no one ever did that. And then someone started buying it, and then it like got traction. So I don't know. A lot of people do buy it. It's up to you. There's a lot of stuff out there, guys. Additional stuff. You don't really need, you don't get caught up in buying a bunch of crap. There's a lot of people that, I mean, they send me stuff, hawking me, like, because they think I'm studying for the test too, I guess. But they'll talk about math and buying these math test books. Like, don't do it. You got enough. If you buy the Hondros package and everything, you'll be fine. Did you take the Kramer, Isaac?
So yeah, I took several Kramers. I took a Hondros Kramer. And I took 2 Keller and Williams Kramers. They actually offered a couple Kramers that I attended online. So those are actually very effective. The Hondros Kramer was very effective also. Kramers is so the Kramers is one thing that I can actually say is mandatory, because the Kramers actually, so for one, for those of you who don't know what a Kramer is, it's kind of like a mock testing setting, and then after the test is administered, they go back over the questions one by one, break everything down for you. So that's a Kramer. Like I was saying, those are mandatory because it was areas that I felt I was strong in, but once I attended the Kramer, I realized, oh, you don't know nothing, man.
Oh. So yeah, I agree. Like the exam prep thing that we have, or strategy class we have at our brokerage, part of the testing plan does have the Kramer at the end. It's good. It's a long day. How long of a day is it, Isaac? Tell them about it. How long is it? An hour long or 8 hours?
No, it's a super long day. It's another 8-hour day.
Exhausting. It's mentally exhausting. So you're gonna have to take a day or two. Yeah, take a day or two after you do it. But your brain is packed full. It is packed full, and then get ready to rip that test.
Grammar is an understatement for that thing.
Yeah, it's cramming it for sure. Gino says, what in life made you want to be a realtor, and did you deal with any I don't know. Maybe why did you want to be a realtor? This is like a personal question. Maybe Isaac, why did you want to become?
So I've always kind of had a thing for customer service. I'm somewhat of a I would call myself a people person. I'm very much a people person, honestly. I like to help people out, and what better way to put a smile on somebody's face than to helping them secure a piece of property that could possibly be passed down for generations or something like that. So I just felt like this was the best avenue that I could take as far as helping people, and on the finance side is very lucrative.
Yeah. Like the return on investment, the cost of getting a real estate license is pretty minimal. And one thing too, like, helping someone buy a home. I always say it's like the top 3 things they'll do in their life: get married, have kids, then buy a house. And they'll never forget it. Like that's something in life that they might even remember their closing date, but they always remember, I bought this house in 1982. Like they know it. They remember what year it was, maybe what month, and it's just something that's really, really important. Ima says, very informative, thinking about changing industries. So this was comforting. Ima, we have a 30% discount at Hondros here in a second. I'm going to roll at the bottom of the screen. But yeah, it's 30% off your Hondros tuition if you do want to jump to Hondros. And ask me. I teach at Hondros. A lot of you know that's why you're on. But if you have any questions about getting into real estate, it's very you could if you get started today, guys, we're in September, you could have your license by Christmas easily. Like I said, like 3 months, and easily 3 months you can. And that, when I say 3 months, meaning like Isaac, you might still be able to squeeze 2 tests in there in 3 months. So you really can have it. So guys, we're going to be winding down. If you have any last questions, now's the time to ask Isaac. I was joking earlier. I said, Isaac, we usually try to shoot for around 20-25 minutes. It'll go fast. And I don't know if you believe me, we're already at 31 minutes, but it does. It goes fast with your guys' good questions. So Yeah, if you have any final questions for Isaac, ask it now because we're getting ready to close it out. So, Isaac, anything else that you would like to say before we get off today?
No, I want to say, well, as far as Hondros goes, like I said, I took the weekend class, so they do offer a weekend package for those of you working full-time jobs, maybe Monday through Friday. They do offer weekend classes, Saturday and Sunday, 8 to 5. I want to say that package was around, I can't give you an exact price, but I know it was under 2,000. I want to say it was from 1,600 to 1,800. That was what I paid for the classes. So it's not too expensive. And then Adam has a discount code for you after this video, so that goes hand in hand. Other than that, man, just for those of you that's actually considering it, don't let nothing get in your way. Like, actually see yourself selling houses. Like, actually visualize yourself as a real estate agent, because a lot of times you'll get in your own way, Adam. Like, it won't be nothing stopping you. It's just you and the thoughts in your head. So don't be a prisoner of your own thoughts in your head. Just go out there and do it. If you feel like you can do it, go out there and do it. And just make the best of it, man. Make the best of it.
All right. Well, we got a last second buzzer beater, Kyle. We're going to hit it and we're getting out of here. Kyle asks, last question for the day. Says, if I'm taking this course, how long should I be working on the class per day to get my license within a month or two? 30 days is fast, but how long? So he's probably going to be doing the 3-week course or, whatever. But if you want to answer this, Isaac, or I can take it too, because there's a couple different ways.
Yeah. So Kyle, I would say if you're taking a course and working, is that what he asked? Right. Okay. If I'm taking a course and shit. Okay.
I think he just wants to try to get it done within 2 months. How much hours per day? Maybe he might have to do it online or in person.
So I would say a minimum of 2 hours a day. 2 hours a day at a minimum. If you're going to get any progress, you got to study or do something real estate related for a minimum of 2 hours a day, because it's a lot of information to retain, brother. So yeah, I would say a minimum of 2 hours a day. That gives you, let's say, 4 days, 8 hours a week. So yeah, I would say a minimum of 2. Honestly, I would say a minimum of 2 hours a day. That's reasonable.
Pretty fair. Yeah, he just sent me a message. He said he's doing it online. 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's 10. Because guys, you have to have 120 hours. 120 hours per state. So 120 hours sounds like a lot, but if you work a job at 40 hours a week, that's 3 work weeks. So you got to think about that, along those ways. I have seen people get through everything within a month. That's barn burning, though. You're probably gonna a couple hours a night for 5-6 days a week. That's a lot if you got a full-time job. Yeah, that's a lot for sure. But yeah, I hope that helps, Kyle. But yeah, if you have a full-time job, guys, we have a lot of people that have other jobs. They get up early for an hour or two before work, or they do it at night when they put the kids to bed. For an hour or two. You can do it. You can get it busted out easily.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I had
months.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm good. Go ahead, Kyle. Okay. Kyle. Isaac, sorry. I'm still reading Kyle.
I had a full-time job the whole entire time that I was actually taking my classes. So like I said, I would be at work. I would have one headphone in to where my manager couldn't see me, or if he walked by, I would do a quick little turnaround just so I could get this information that I needed, because I seen the bigger picture. So just dedicate that time, and it's definitely going to pay off. 2 hours a day it may sound like a lot, but it's definitely doable. Like, you got to think, people probably just randomly scroll for more than 2 hours a day. So within that time, get on YouTube, listen to some vocab videos, listen to podcasts, do it
for sure. Yeah, guys, it's a temporary pain for a long time solution. It really is. So hey, Isaac, before we get off today, thanks for coming on. if someone wants to ask you more questions, they can put it in the comments. But I got your email up there. Tell them how to get a hold of you if they want to ask you questions personally.
Okay. Yep. My email is up there. Isaac Madison at carltonrealty.com. My social media. My Facebook is Isaac Madison. My Instagram is realestate_related1. And yeah, that's it. All my information is on my social media, my cell phone, my website, my email. Everything you need to get in contact with me is on my social media. So you guys feel free to contact me with any questions, any inquiries about any properties or anything.
Nice. Yep. Very good. Thanks again, Isaac, for coming on. And if you want to get a hold of me, I'm on Facebook at adam.ashba. And guys, too, if you're thinking about, we had a couple people on there thinking about getting in real estate, just like Isaac and I, look at the bottom. There's a discount code. It'll be in the descriptions, 30% off your Hondros package. That's several $100s off the large package. Take advantage of it. You can have your real estate license by Christmas. All right. Well, thanks again, Isaac. Happy Monday, everybody. We'll see you all very, very soon. Bye, everybody.